The three biggest mistakes that I made when it came to my anxiety were, number one, I lacked the knowledge and tools of how to deal with it. Number two, I thought I was broken and that something needed fixing. And number three, I hated that part of me. I'm Candice Bester from Grit Grow, and I'm super excited to bring you our 7th episode of our Grit Community series. In today's episode, I'm going to give you the lowdown of how I have cured my anxiety, and the hope that if you take into consideration this knowledge as well as some really easy to implement practical tools and tips, that you too can change your life like I have. If I look back on my life from even 3 years ago, I don't recognize it. Panic, overwhelm, and severe anxiety was something that was my norm for more than 2 decades. Today, inner peace and calm are my norm. And if I'm anxious for 20 minutes every second week, it's a lot. So the proof really is in the results that I myself have gotten. And you can't knock it until you try it. So just some things that you need to know before we go into a very practical 5-step process that you're going to need a pen and paper for. Firstly, your anxiety is not your fault. It's not a broken part of you. It's not something that needs fixing. Somewhere along your timeline, you needed it. It was a coping mechanism and it was a protection for you. And now, over the years, your body has learned how to do this automatically, and so it's become a behavior. It is not your fault. You are not broken, and there is nothing that you need to fix. You need to learn to love your anxiety. When it pops up, you're going to nurture it and you're going to love it. And you're going to see this as your journey, and it's going to be something you're going through. And you need to know that it will pass. It is not there to stay. And when you approach your anxiety with this kind of a mindset, I know that these 5 steps are going to be easier to implement. The other thing is your mindset needs to change. Maybe you have believed all your life that this is your forever reality. Okay, the truth is it's your current reality. It doesn't mean it's your forever reality. You're probably thinking it's who you are as a human, so you're using words like I am anxious, and if you watched our video last week, your identity creates your reality. So you're going to start changing your mindsets around this and changing the words you use around this. So you're going to start saying things like, I feel anxious, I am experiencing anxiety, but it's not who I am. And the truth is we all experience anxiety at some stage. The only difference is the varying degrees of it and how we manage to cope and shift. But it's normal to experience anxiety. It shows that you're human. So when you embark on these 5 steps with this new mindset of love and nurturing and not needing to fix and not seeing that you're broken, they are going to be a winner in your life. So what are they? Step number 1, 80% of it lies in the noticing. Self-awareness is what you are going to become a pro at. Where do you feel your anxiety? So mine was always in my chest, and my breath quickens, even though it feels like it's going shallow. My heart is pounding. So it's all here and a little bit in my throat. So noticing where you feel it and then noticing when you are feeling it is step 1. You can't change anything until you've done the noticing. Step number 2 is you're going to remove yourself from the situation, and you're going to love and give attention to this anxiety as if it is a little child that needs nurturing. Wherever you are, you're doing homework with your child, you're in a business meeting, you're sitting behind your laptop, you're having a fight with your spouse, you get a transaction coming off your bank account. I don't care where you are. You can always remove yourself from the situation. And pushing harder and pretending it's not there is going to escalate it. It's not going to help you. So step 2 is you remove yourself from the situation and you give that part of you love. How do you give that part of you love? Well, you hone in on the actual feeling. See the feeling as the child. 2 hands on your heart, and you're going to press down hard. This is resetting your nervous system. deep, deep breaths in, filling your tummy and lungs with air, and exhaling all that absolute tension. And sometimes it will just be 3 breaths, sometimes it will be way more, but you breathe until you feel it shifting. And then you tell yourself, I stole this from Mel Robbins, you're going to tell yourself these 3 things. I'm safe, I am loved, and I'm okay. It has been scientifically proven that it takes 90 seconds for the feeling, if you give it all your attention like I've just shown you, to pass. Only a minute and a half. The reason we keep feeling anxious is because now it's become a thought process and we're stuck in our heads. This is not a thinking process, this is a feeling process. Step 3 is I need you to keep a journal and notice your triggers and write them down and start to understand where they come from. Tell yourself the truth. There's going to be a common thread in your triggers. Mine was always around finances, so it would be a transaction coming off or paying a bill, standing at the till, seeing that the amount was more than I expected. And when I went back after a week of recording my triggers, I noticed it all had to do with my finances. And then you're going to look back and you're going to notice that this has come in and crept in from childhood. And then you're going to tell yourself the truth about it. I'm always okay. I always have enough. I always have a roof over my head. It's going to be okay. You tell yourself the truth. This is not my childhood. This is a new chapter. So you tell yourself the truth about the situation. Step number 4 is you need a mantra. And my mantra was always, I don't like what's happening. I don't understand why it's happening. But I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. I'm always okay. And I just said that over and over and over again. It's also part of noticing and giving your anxiety the attention that it's looking for. And then the last step, step number 5, is you have to notice progress. You have to notice the wins. If you were normally anxious for 2 hours at a time and now because of this process you were only anxious for 10 minutes, that's a win. And when you get into bed at night and you look past in your day and you go, wow, I was less anxious today, you need to notice it and you need to acknowledge it. Because otherwise you're just going to go back to old habits and the same old is going to keep coming up. So my heart goes out to you. I know that this is not easy to deal with. But I also know that when you see it as something that's wrong with you and when you reject it and you see it as something as a flaw and it needs fixing, that it doesn't go away and it doesn't get better. So loving it, understanding it, and giving it the attention it needs with these 5 steps is going to be a game changer for you. So if you enjoyed this video, please, we're trying to grow our grit community. In the description, you will see a link to our WhatsApp community and all our links to our Facebook, to our Instagrams, and slowly but surely, one step at a time, we really can start to change our life because we are so much more powerful than we realize.